What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. This case is getting deeper as it heads to the grand jury. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about the different stages and stuff. Why is it going to the grand jury? What are the possible outcomes for this case to be heard in front of the grand jury? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about wrongful death lawsuits, different things like that. Um, So yeah, and I want to let you hear something by this guy, and he's gonna really put this stuff in perspective on, the overall sentiment from this case, because this case is not treated like all other cases. It's not, and the reason being is because I know people don't like to bring race into this, but you'd be silly if you think race is not involved. It is. Because it's a fact how, and I'm gonna prove it to you. It's a scientific fact that based on the subjects of a case, on how they look is how you judge them on the case. Give you a perfect example. Let's say a woman was charged with hitting a student, right? And depending on how the woman looked, the more attractive she looks, people are tend to give her a break. How many teachers do you see getting charged with sleeping with their students? And it's usually the hot teachers people just give a pass to. It's just based on people perceptions, right? People don't even realize they're doing it, but we all do it based on perception. Okay. And the average person, even some people that I know, I just sit back and just like listen to what they say, and I learn a person every single day. All you got to do is just let people talk, and then you'll really know their mindset on how they see certain things. There's a lot of people that I've known for years, and I didn't realize they were this bigoted. I didn't realize, but you realize it when certain cases go down. Then you'll realize. Just sit back because they will believe you believe them every time. But you'll be a fool to think racism is not an issue here. It is. Even how they sensationalize this case is because of race. It's because of race, and that's just a whole fact. We're so busy talking about because everybody is making videos talking about there has been arrest in the Nolan Wells case. It's very sad, and it's misleading. There was not arrest made in the Nolan Wells case. There was an arrest made outside of the Nolan Well case. Somebody threatened a judge. That got nothing to do with what we're trying to find out with Nolan. It had nothing to do with this. Okay. This is a separate incident. Somebody been watching the case and they want to start trouble. Let me tell you something. That person was probably sent too. Because the person that actually did that to her, it looks off. It does. It looks very off. Why would he threaten a judge? Just looking how he looked. It doesn't add up, do it? If you look at the person that actually did it, why would he even be starting any trouble in this case unless he was trolling? It don't make sense. Like, and he's not even, you know, part of the demographic. Like, why would he even do it? See, a lot of this stuff stands out to me and it don't seem right. I'm like, damn, they must be playing in our face. You know what I'm saying? Because that I don't want to hear about that. Okay, I don't like when people get threatened. People shouldn't get threatened in this case. The people that's being talked about, they shouldn't have hate mail and getting threatened. But Nolan's family is getting the same thing. The media is not talking about that. They're only focusing on this judge. You know why they're doing it? They try to take away from what we want to know. What the hell happened to this young man? I don't care about nothing else. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care about the judge. I don't care about her family. Okay. I don't care about her getting threatened. Okay. You let the law deal with that. That's a separate issue. I don't care about that. I want to know what happened to this young man. I want to know why this young man didn't come back home like everybody else. You mean to tell me nobody just checked on him and make sure he was okay? That the overall sentiment is we the overall sentiment is we left him with this girl and we went on about our business. Okay, whoever you left him with, my question to that person, what's up? How did he end up like this? Nobody seems to know. People seem to think he just slipped and fell in the water. Well, that could have been the case, but we don't even have the results of the autopsy yet, which the this lawyer that I was hearing talk, all these people are on code. They're on code of the ones that are trying to help. They all are painting a narrative on this family. Even some analysts that I thought was cool, they're not even cool. And I should have thought they weren't cool because they belong to the other demographic. So just when I thought somebody was cool, they showed their colors. They're not cool. They're not cool. Some are, but you just have to evaluate it as you go along. You got to evaluate it. But some of their people, they're literally telling us what's happening as far as the smoke screening. They're telling us that I'm gonna play something in a second for you. See, I want justice for everybody. I don't care who it is. Just like I covered the Nancy Guthrie case. I was sad for her daughter, but they don't feel sad for us. They don't. They don't have that ability to. So I'm gonna stop feeling sad for them at some point. See, I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. When I'm covering a case, if something happened, I'm on the side of justice. I don't care how you look. I don't get on car. I don't care how you look. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have that same feeling for us. They don't. Some do. Some do, but a lot of them don't. Well, you got to understand the officer, whatever his name is, he was sent. He was sent. And he's trying to get her out of character. And she's not falling for it. See, that's his point of him doing this stuff. He's trying to get them out of character. Okay. He didn't get out of character to Nancy Grace. So what is that telling you? That's telling you that he's a step and fetch it, correct? He's in blackface. That's what that's telling you. So he's not supposed to be taken seriously, right? It's just that he's getting a lot of views and people are listening to him. I don't listen to him no more. I just wanted to hear the interviews. I never really listened to him. I'm looking at some of the people I know sideways for listening to him. Low key, I'm looking at them sideways. Because why would you find him entertaining? Why would you find that? Now, here's my thing. I'm not in no position to tell people what to watch, but I can still look at you sideways though. I can still look at you sideways for even finding what he's doing entertaining and agreeing with him. I'm gonna look at you sideways for not being educated. I'm just gonna look at you sideways. I'm gonna make a note of it. I'm not gonna say nothing to you. Out of all the podcasts, and that's who you listen to. So you don't like me either. If you listen to him, you don't like me. I'm just telling you this. It's funny how these women are. They'll sleep with you though, but they don't like you. That's deep what I just said. That is deep. So, and I'm not talking about all of you, but if you find him entertaining, that's your thought process is fucked up. I just have to tell you this. That's like me listening to I mean, I shouldn't say that because I can't, but I'm judging you. Like if you listen, I'm going to judge. Not that I'm going to judge you to your face, but I'm just going to make a note of it. Like if you listen to him, something wrong with you. Okay, something wrong with you, and I can tell you why something is wrong. I can tell you why, but I don't want to do that because it'll hurt a lot of feelings. If I really told you why that you like listening to him and the deep root and go deep with it, nah, I'm not going to do that. But this case is listen, I was listening to Plies, right? It was funny, but it wasn't funny. He said, man, he said, I looked at all them boats out there and all that. He said, that was a damn rally. And now that he said that, yo, I wouldn't even want to be on that island. I wouldn't. He was like, the damn flag don't even seem the same. It don't. Ever since that like MAGA situation happened, they actually got bold. They actually got bold with that whole thing. And I try to tell people about getting hunted, but when it happens to your family, come holler at me. When something happens to your family, I'll be able to tell you if they got hunted or not, especially if they go missing. And I'll be able to tell you. My words is going to haunt somebody because it's happening at an alarming rate. You know how many people go missing every day? It's happening at an alarming rate. So it's happening at an alarming rate, man. Hold on one second. You said you walk into all the under construction homes in your neighborhood, or you talking about that other case? Well, you just didn't get you just didn't go in the right area. I could take you to an area. I could take you to an area in Virginia and see. Let me see you do that and see won't they shoot you. I can take you to an area. Matter of fact, Miguel, I can take you to an area and drop you off, yo, and see once you see some K's out there. I promise you. And matter of fact, I'm about to go down there soon. I'm gonna show you. I'll show you better than I could tell you. I'm gonna show you where they're at. You said where the son and father. Yeah, but let me tell you something. I could take you to an area, right? I could take you to an area and you're gonna immediately say, let's get out of there. Immediately. They're gonna stare at your car. Let me tell you something. It's an area I'm gonna take, like it's like an area deep in this deep down there. If we drive through the town, right? Everybody gonna see you because they're gonna be outside. They're not gonna recognize the car, and somebody gonna start following. You said your point is he wasn't stealing either. That kid wasn't. You talking about the kid that got shot in the back? He wasn't stealing. He didn't steal nothing. Yeah, he wasn't stealing. He was. Did you wait? Hold on. Time out. Time out. Oh, you said yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah, but he wasn't. He wasn't stealing though. I thought you said he was stealing. He wasn't stealing. That's for the record. We got to put that on the record. Yeah, he wasn't stealing. You said he tried to justify following because he walked. But you got to understand, he's a step. You know who Step and Fetchit is? You know who Step and Fetchit is? Step and Fetchit was one of the most paid actors in Hollywood back in the day, back in the 20s. He used to be the Sambo character. He was the number one Sambo character. And he was the most paid person in Hollywood because these folks like to look at stuff like that to make themselves feel better. That's what Officer Tatum is doing. He's a Sambo character. He does stuff to entertain the people that's watching him. That's blackface. It's nothing has changed. There's nothing new under the sun. It's a black. He's in blackface. Let me tell you something. If you ever want to go viral on YouTube, start talking in blackface, like how he's talking. You're gonna get a lot. You're gonna get a huge following. Not at first, because they gotta make sure that you stay true. And how are they gonna make sure that you stay true with a case like this? They want to see where your perspective is. They want to see where your perspective is. And if you stay true and tell them what they want to hear, you'll get a huge following. You'll get a lot of donations. You'll get a huge following and everything like that. So it's a Sambo role always paid off. They always got a lot of money for that to play that character. Sidney Poitier wouldn't play that character. Sidney Poitier, he wouldn't play that character. That's why I respect him. He wouldn't wear a dress. He wouldn't play that character. He said, I got dignity. He said, if my talent is not good enough for you, then I don't need the role. And guess what? They respected him. They said, okay, you don't have to do it. We got other roles for you. But they just wanted to check. You ever notice most of the big stars in Hollywood wore dresses and they were of color? That's for a reason. That's for a reason. So, like again, it all started with Step and Fetch It. He was a real guy, but he used to ride all the finest of cars, even back then. Lived in the biggest of houses. He was the highest paid, white or black, highest paid actor in Hollywood. And he played them Yassa boss role. Yassa, they like that them type of roles. But they don't want you to talk like that no more. They want you to be like how a good officer is. They want you to talk like that. Yeah, not all money is good money. I'm good on that. Yeah, but I don't listen to him no more. I only listen to him just to hear the interviews. But other than that, I don't listen to him. I'm not even subscribed to him. I don't listen to him, and that's it. But I know who he is, you know. And let me explain something to you. He doesn't know this, but if he ever fall out of line, if he ever fall out of line, there was already an example made already. See, let me explain what I meant. I'm not going to say the person's name, but his life got cut short on a microphone. It was all good when he was talking about us, talking about people of color, what we need to do and how we need to live. But then he started talking about somebody else and he was gone just like that. That's why I respect them. They don't play no games with nobody. They don't play no games with nobody. Okay? They're about their paper. They're not about the disrespect. And you're not going to disrespect them. Okay? It's something with the odd, something that sound like that. They don't play. And the reason why they're so ruthless, because they said what happened to them ain't never happening again. And I respect it. But guess who else they don't like? Them people down south. They don't like them either. And they always watching. And just like what's his name? Good old boy on the microphone and telling us how we should live and this and that and what we should do in single parent households. He was safe doing that. But let him cross over and get too big for his get too big in the program and start meddling in their business. They send messages right in front of our face. Okay? They don't play games, bro. And we shouldn't play games either, but we're not united. We're not united. Okay? So we're not united. So that's, I'm telling you, they'll put you on a t-shirt. You mess with them. Let me explain. If it was one of them that went to that island and didn't make it back, them boys would have been arrested. Somebody would have got arrested. I'm not sure who it was. They would have been gone. They would have been arrested. Okay? They don't play no games, man. Because I know one. You know what he said? He said, bro, you know what he told me? He said, bro, I can go to Washington State right now with no money and somebody's going to help me. That's how much we stick together. And that's how much our money stays circulating with us. He said, y'all don't do that. He said, once you guys start doing that, we will help you. He said that. Your life will change. He said that. He said, we have our problems within our community as well. What's up, Sharif? We got our problems within our community as well. But he said, we don't take no bullshit. That's just 100. We don't. If it was one of them that this happened to, somebody would have been arrested, whether they did it or not. Yeah, I know about the RICO. So I just wanted to say that, you know what I'm saying? Because yeah, when he made his name going viral, telling people this and that and how they supposed to live, and then he said he started meddling in other people's business, talking about he knows some secrets. Okay, I would never do that because I got respect. I know the program. I would never do something like that. Like, yeah, I'm going over there. I know where I know the Epstein secrets. I would never do that. Even if I did, I wouldn't say it. Even if I did know the secrets, I got respect. They don't play. And so what? He might still be around. So what you gonna do about it? Nothing. You gotta respect it. No, I'm just you guys are just coming in. What's up, Lashane? I'm just we were I was talking about something, but we were building off something earlier, but so I just wanted to say that, man. We were talking about the officer guy. How let me ask you a question. Name me one person in the Jewish community that act like a coon. Name me one. Name me one that will lower his dignity just to entertain other people. Name me one. Name me one. Go ahead. Name me one. Not Drake. Nope. Not him. He's untouchable. Not him. Name me one. You can't name me one. They don't do stuff like that. He always, I don't know who you're saying that did, but well, I'm talking about against their own kind. I'm talking about somebody that put their own kind down. I can't name one. If there are, they're very rare. But I'm talking about the good officer. I'm just trying to make a point that he's not to be taken seriously because I've seen his type before. They've always had his type before. In every era, you always had one like that. That will be quick to and some of the police officers in your neighborhood are like that. They're the ones that go hard on you the most, don't they? They're the ones that go hard on you the most. So we have them everywhere. So that the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm breaking down the good officer. That's why. And why he is the way he is. We've always been having those in our community. But you normally don't see them in the other communities. You don't see that too much. You might have a few, but not somebody that can do major damage like he's doing. You never see it. He doesn't have empathy. He doesn't. He seemed like he lacks it, and he seemed like he hate them. This is just my opinion. It's coming out of he's still picking with the mother. He's still picking with her. Still picking with the mother. Just like somebody sent me a message talking about where's the kid father. I say the father on TV. What's the problem? It's a two-parent household. What's the problem? Yeah, people kill me, man. A lot of people really like reveal themselves to me. I know how people I'm like, okay, you like that. Let me take a note. The family didn't do nothing wrong. Did you know the family didn't accuse the boys of nothing? They didn't accuse nobody anything. They just want to know what happened to their son. They didn't accuse anybody anything. They just want answers. But see, they're not on code with the system. When you buck against the system, I knew they were getting ready to get attacked. We sitting up here worried about somebody getting death threats. Why are we even worried about that? The person already got arrested. We don't even need to talk about that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really care about that. It means me no, never mind. I want to know what happened to this kid though. He's more important than that judge. She's not important to me. He's important to me. See, people always quick to say he's the stepfather. He's the stepfather. God damn it, it's a two-parent household. That's all I care about. Okay? That's all I care about. So, getting into it, let me just get into this because I was just talking about Officer Tatum. The Jackson County, let me see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even care what he went through as a child. I really don't. I don't really care. I only listened to him that one time because he was doing the interviews and I wanted to know what the guy said. He even looked weird just sitting there, man breasts and everything. He just weird, dog. I can't even look at him. You know what I'm saying? I just can't even look at him, man. I just can't. I don't like hearing him. I can't look at him just like that. All right, um so Jackson County District Attorney said that once the investigators finish collecting all the evidence, the entire case will be presented to a grand jury. The district attorney also explained that in Jackson County, this is standard procedure for unattended, suspicious, and unnatural deaths. It does not automatically mean investigators have concluded a crime occurred. So, in other words, investigators gather every piece of evidence. The district attorney reviews it. The grand jury decides whether there's enough evidence to charge anyone with the crime. They do that. Anything that's unnatural. If it was a natural death, they don't have to do that. But any deaths that's deemed unnatural, they will send it to the grand jury. Now, let's say a car accident. Let's say if it was a car accident and it didn't involve you know, like a crime. You know, how somebody just maybe just had a freak accident. That's not going to the grand jury. Let's say if the person was drunk driving and caused major damage, that's going to the grand jury. Now, what can the grand jury see? Depending on what investigators have completed, jurors could review the official state autopsy, toxicology results, cell phone records and digital evidence, GPS data, boat information, 911 and CTO recordings, witness statements, law enforcement reports, expert testimony from medical examiners and investigators. Let me go back to the GPS data. That GPS data is off. That GPS data that we saw, we can't go with that. We can't go with the who I'm not sure whoever came up with that GPS data. The times are off because when he talked, I believe when somebody talked to the police that night about 1 a.m., they said he went off with a female. That could come back to haunt somebody if he was with them. You get what I'm saying? So all that's taken into consideration. Official state autopsy has now, like I said, we know been completed, delivered to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, but it hasn't been released publicly. A grand jury is not a trial. No defense attorney argues the case. No judge decides guilt. No one is convicted. Instead, prosecutors present evidence in private and jurors answer one basic question: is there probable cause to believe someone committed a crime? Now, what are the possible outcomes? Indictment, that's one. That means if the jury believes there is probable cause, it returns an indictment. That means criminal charges can be filed and the case moves to criminal court. So you see how we don't need to hear the autopsy right now to know where this is going. Let's say if it comes back and they said that the grand jury is still looking over evidence. As far as I'm concerned, God, they could be looking it over now. We don't know. But if they say there's an indictment, you already know that there was probable cause in that evidence to arrest somebody. But right now, we just speculate. We just have to wait and see. Sometimes prosecutors continue investigating before seeking charges if additional evidence is needed. Why is the autopsy being kept sealed? The district attorney has said the official autopsy will remain under seal until it is presented to a grand jury. The stated reason is to protect the integrity of the investigation and the grand jury process while it's ongoing. So, Ben Crump nor his parents are going to tell us anything about the autopsy. They were already said, they was already told no, I'm pretty sure. There would be no press conferences. Okay. Once she said it was sealed, we're not going to hear anything. So, like I said, a lot of people hear grand jury and immediately think someone is about to be arrested. No, it's not necessarily true. The grand jury simply, guys, just reviews the evidence and collects whatever the investigators have. Collected by investigators and decide if there's enough probable cause, if there's enough evidence to move forward to a trial. Okay, so we don't know. We're just going to have to, this is like a waiting game. We don't know the evidence they collected. They didn't tell us. And in some of the stuff, they're not even going to tell the family. They're not even going to tell the family what evidence they collected all the time because they don't want them having press conferences and telling us because it's going to ruin the integrity of the investigation. Therefore, whoever, let's say, potentially get locked up, they can argue for an unfair trial. You know why? You know why? Because they're going to say all the evidence that was leaked out to the media is prejudicial and it violates their right to a fair trial. So we're not going to know nothing about no autopsy. Nothing. We're not going to learn nothing, know nothing. It ain't going to be nothing. Not right now. Not right now, guys. Not right now. Maybe soon, but not right now. And I have been saying this before. We're not going to learn nothing about no autopsy. until when I found out that that automatically goes to the grand jury, yeah, we're not going to hear nothing right now. Now, now that we know what can happen if it goes to the grand jury, they can either come back and say there's not enough probable cause to move forward, or they need more evidence, or they will rule that it's enough probable cause that a crime may have occurred, and you can move forward to a criminal trial. And remember, the state has the burden of proof to prove this case beyond reasonable doubt. Now, that leads me to talk about the possible wrongful death lawsuit. The civil case is the preponderance of evidence. Is it more likely to be true or not? That's the difference. But a wrongful death lawsuit is not a civil, is a civil case, is not a criminal case. You see, you know how I just said it's the preponderance of evidence? Is it more likely to be true or not? The criminal case, the state has the highest burden of proof. You got to prove him guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's why OJ beat the criminal case and was found liable in the civil case. Is it more likely to be true that he has something to do with this? Yes or no? If the seesaw goes a little bit into that favor, you can say that he's liable, just a little bit. It's likely to be true, right? Okay, you can. That's how easy. That's a civil case. Now, the family is not asking the court to send someone to prison. Instead, they're asking whether another person negligence or wrongful conduct caused the death, and if so, whether that person or entity should pay damages. Somebody is on the hook right now, I'm about to tell you. And I don't have to say allegedly. You about to hear it. The burden of proof is also lower in a criminal case, like I said, it's the preponderance of evidence. That means it is possible for someone to face wrongful death lawsuit even if no one is criminally charged or convicted. Could the boat owner be sued? Potentially, yes. I have to say potentially, yes. But that depends on facts investigators uncover. If the family files a wrongful death lawsuit, they could choose to sue any person or entity they believe was legally responsible. That could include, for example, the boat owner of the boat, if they believe the owner was negligent, the operator of the boat, if different from the owner, anyone else whose actions they believe contributed to Nolan Wells' death. However, being the owner of the boat does not automatically make someone legally liable. The family could have to present evidence showing that the owner's actions or legal responsibilities contributed to what happened. Now, let's say if there was drinking involved and the person was operating the boat drinking, it's all different type of things. So grand jury investigation may uncover additional evidence. Investigators may interview more witnesses. The official autopsy, forensic reports, and other reports may become available. A criminal investigation can produce evidence that may also be relevant in a civil case. So the grand jury and a wrongful death lawsuit are two completely different legal processes. The grand jury decides whether there's enough evidence to bring criminal charges. A wrongful death lawsuit is a civil action where the family seeks financial compensation if they believe someone negligence or wrongful conduct caused Nolan Wells' death. One does not depend entirely on the other. It's a distinction. So that's why right now it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. You have to wait and see. Okay. Anything can happen. Oh, shoot. Anything could be revealed. We just have to wait and see. Just have to be patient. These things take time. These things take time. I know they do. Fortunately, I know people, unfortunately, that was in this, that got caught up in the system, and they know the law better than some lawyers, man. They don't been in the system so much. I know somebody, man. He was like, bro, yeah, they're gonna do this, this, and that, and there's no guarantee now. I know maritime law involved. They're not going to, um, it is what it is. So again, nobody have any ideas really on, let's say if he drowned. Well, how did it happen? We can make some stuff up. Did he just get slipped under the water or whatever? He went out too far. How come nobody saw him? Sometime you have to answer that question. Well, maybe he got sucked down by that current so fast he didn't have time to yell. And then everybody around him was so drunk and festive, the music playing, that they didn't hear it. Right? So we went over all angles. But my gut, because I'm street smart, my gut is telling me something happened to him. And this could turn out to be the perfect murder. There's no cameras on that island, nothing. And then for the ones that are being, so people are talking about, the reason why we're talking, see me, I critique the interview. There's a difference. In my opinion, he did a piss poor job in the interview. The way he conducted himself, the words he chose to use, everything was off. I'm talking about both guys. So that's what I'm doing. I'm critiquing them. I didn't say they did it, but I know I don't want to hang with them. I wouldn't be caught dead hanging with them. Nope. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't. So now to their knowledge, they said that, hey, we told him to come on. We having issues with our boat, and he stayed with the girl, but the girl said, I don't know. I haven't heard from her. So I don't know what she's saying. But what we know is he set sail with them early in the morning and went to Horn Island. Everybody returned home except for him. Out of all them thousands of people out there that day, they all turned home. He's the only one something happened to. Out of all them people out there. I want you to hear what this guy had to say. And he's going to break it down. He's literally going to tell you how certain people think because he belongs. He knows. Not that he does that type of stuff, but he knows. Listen to this.
On the 4th of July, a boat full of young people took an 18-year-old black boy named Nolan Wells out to a Mississippi island. Here are the public facts. The boat leaves the island at 4:31 p.m. Nolan isn't on it, but nobody in that group calls his mother. She doesn't get a phone call until 11 p.m., nearly 7 hours later. When she tracks his location, his phone isn't out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's sitting in a house connected to someone from that trip. The white friends claim Nolan refused to get on their boat because he wanted to stay behind with a girl. But that girl told police Nolan said he was walking right back over there to leave with them. That single statement shatters the white boy's story. Nolan was found 2 days later, face down, fully clothed, shoes and all. Ask yourself, how many people accidentally drowned at a summer beach party that can swim while fully dressed? I'm just looking at the facts, folks, and to me, those white kids are fishy as fuck. And right now, the insulated majority, white folks, we are doing what we've always done since the very first slave ship touched these shores, hiding behind comfortable complicity. We call it denial, but let's call it what the fuck it is. White racism. It is the narrative engine that has always given the lies of white supremacy a fucking pass, excused institutional failure, and kept the machine running. 581. That is how many Black Americans were butchered in the Mississippi dirt, lynched. Execution for the killers, for the white killers, 0. Prison sentences for the white terrorists, none. The machine didn't just run on hate, it ran on a dominant culture that watched the blood spill and looked the other way. Yes, the insulated majority has a terrifying gag reflex when you shove a mirror in its fucking face. In 1955, an all-white jury let Emmett Till's killers walk free. They knew the machinery of Southern justice would always protect them, and it did. Even after they admitted that they killed Emmett Till, it still protected them. Accountability, it's a ghost story. We traded the lynch ropes for a clean escape, but people looking the other way just sets a trap for more white racism. Black people are still turning up dead under mysterious circumstances. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as it was designed to work. So when a young Black college athlete, a survivor in prime physical shape, who knew how to swim, goes out to Hort Island with a group of white kids and is the only one who doesn't come back breathing, we know the script. That benefit of the doubt is just a get out of jail free card printed exclusively in white ink. But the gatekeepers of accountability, they take one look at a dead Black boy, shrug their shoulders and say, they don't suspect foul play. Imagine if that was a white boy on that boat with 3 Black kids. The world would stop spinning. There would be helicopters, federal probes, primetime specials. And what happens next? The internet rushes to close ranks. You call a grieving Black mother a race baiter. You demand her silence to protect the illusion of your fake fucking innocence. You know, Black folks in this country aren't weak. They are survivors. They aren't paranoid. They're just not fucking blind. They know exactly how fast a badge and a gavel will twist into knots to shield the protected color. And here's the ultimate truth we refuse to look at. The cage we built to trap others, we locked ourselves inside it. The lies of white supremacy is a disease, and this comfortable complicity is a form of self-enslavement. Here's the honest truth as I sit here today. None of us outside that island know exactly how Nolan Wells took his last breath in that water. But we know exactly what the white reflex does after the water. It proves day after day that Black life is worth less than a white lie. Nolan Wells was 18 years old. He was a son. He was a heartbeat. Right now, the defense machinery of this culture is trying to drown him twice. First in the Gulf, and now in a sea of comfortable complicity. White people, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you are sitting there right now, rushing to defend a broken system, instead of demanding answers for an innocent Black man, you are standing in the exact same footprints as the people who gave those 581 lynch mobs a pass. You come from a long, unbroken line of white silence. It isn't a different era, just different technology masking the exact same brutality. I'm not saying Nolan Wells was murdered. I don't know that. What I do know is white people are setting up the protection for the complexion. You know, maybe it's time to get on the right side of fucking history. Because if you are blindly defending the institutional reflex built to protect our own, you aren't just watching him drown. You're the one holding his fucking head under the water. Think about that. Let it settle.
Yeah, let it settle. But yeah, man. So it's nothing gonna be revealed for a while until the grand jury finish. Even then, we're not gonna know anything because what if it moves into a criminal case? Then we're not gonna know the contents of that autopsy until trial. On the medical examiner. It depends. Yeah, it depends. But so yeah, that's it for this particular situation here. I just wish the mother had peace, even though she's not gonna have no peace until she find out what happened. So she's never gonna get no peace over this. Yeah, I'm not sure about the name and all that. That's for me. That's like, yeah, I don't. You say he went to the wrong cookout. That's what it seemed like now. Ain't nobody watching nobody. Everybody just fending for themselves, bro. Crazy. But I heard they were all out there doing the most. But stuff happened, man. But I'll be back, guys, on the next one. This was a short live. I just want to get this out. I'm gonna be back later. I appreciate you guys watching for what you did. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, y'all.